Hello everyone, welcome back. We are here with another exciting tutorial. In this video, we are going to build full stack food delivery application. This is going to be a very good project either if you want to learn React and get hands-on in the backend. So this is going to be a full stack project which you can add in your resume or you can showcase in your profile. This is the Figma design. Here we have three views, the left side and the middle and the right side. On the right side, we can display whatever we add the food items into the cart. We will display here on the right side. In the left side, we can navigate it. So for the UI, will be using a React with TypeScript, and for the backend, we'll be use Springboot with Java. So let's see the demo of the application. Then we will start the code. So this is the first page, the dashboard page, where user will land after the login. Now here we can see there are categories and popular dish. Go to restaurants. So here we are displaying the restaurants. Let's go to one of the restaurant. So let's add some food items. Also in this application, there will be a multiple cart spot. Like you can select and you can create multiple carts. So we can see here we have added the food items from 3 restaurants and we can place them individually. So let's say I want to just place this order first. We'll go checkout. So here there is an option which payment method uh, you want to select. So for credit card, we will integrate this type here when we will make progress in this course. You can also use PayPal and cash on delivery. So I'll choose cash on delivery and let's do place order. So this will be going processing, and here we see now we have 2 cards and this order has been placed. The order was from this restaurant. This is cleared out from the cards, but still we can see 2 cards, and this is the progress that we can see here. And also this is a map view. So these points are coming closer. We can see the update. It is being made to this map, and yeah, so yeah, here order is arrived. We can say these 2 points got made, and this is the order summary. Also we will display the order history and setting, and this application going to be mobile responsive. So if we want to see the mobile view, this is how it will look in mobile. Here you can go to restaurant, you can add the food item in your cart. Okay, so everything is going to be mobile responsive. And yeah, let's start it. Okay, so here I will open the Visual Studio Code, and let me okay, so let's here write a command npm create Vite at latest. Yes. So let's give it the project name freshly UI. We will use React and we'll use TypeScript. Okay, so here I've opened the project in a new window. We can see the project structure here. We have a source directory. Inside source directory, there are app.tsx, main.tsx. So this is the entry point of the application, and here we have an app component. So first, we will install the dependencies. Now to run this project, the command that we need to use npm run dev. Okay, so this is the app running on port 5173. Okay, now we will make some changes. As we say in the design, there are these sections that is divided into, there is a left sidebar and the middle view, that is the main body content, and there will be a right side view which will be having options to change the address and the cart, or to check out the cart. So the first component that we will create, layout. So let's add here the components folder, and we will give it the name layout.tsx. So let's consider there will be a top level component. Inside that there will be 3 views, the left side bar and the main body, and there will be a right side bar. So in the layout component, I just created here an interface layout props because we are using TypeScript. So let it be the types declared for each components. So here we'll basically pass as children, and let's give it here react node. Okay, and here we'll get an children. Now if we see the design, the left and the right sidebar will remain same. Only the change we will make here is the main body content. So when we will navigate to the different pages, let's say when we will route to one page to another, so this will remain same. Only the view that will change is the main body content. So here first we will declare left sidebar. Let's give here class name flex and height screen overflow hidden relative. Okay, so here we will create a component in the layout. Let's have here the file sidebar. Okay, and here we'll give it sidebar. So here we will define the now the main content, and let's give it here class name of flex1 background gray 100. Now here we will pass the children, right? The children that we pass in as a route in the layout. So main class name, some padding 4 for the medium. Width we'll give it padding some large, and else we will give the width of full, and here we will basically pass children, right? Now in the sidebar component, let's here we'll define the sidebar. So here let's give it here div class name. So first I'm going to give here the height screen edge background white, some padding on the y-axis, and here we have padding on x-axis. Flex. Okay, so in the app.tsx, let's remove this all code, and here we'll just pass and layout, and in the layout let's give it here the routes we are using from React router DOM library, and here let's give it route path equal to slash element. So the element we will give the element as a dashboard. So let's create a dashboard page here. I'll create a folder pages, and here we'll give it the new folder dashboard. Let's give it dashboard dot CSS. Let's give it dashboard here, and here we will wrap this as a browser router. Okay, so here we are getting the dashboard. Let's remove it from here. Mm, Also, we need to set up the Tailwind. Let's add here the dependencies. These are the dependencies that we need for Tailwind. After that, we need to add this to the plugins. Let's open the bit.config file, and here we need to add this. Okay, and then we need to add this to the import source index.css. and let's do npm run dev. Okay, let's save this file, Tailwind CSS, and here. Okay. Okay, so this is the left side view and the main body content, like the way we need it. And also here we need a cart option, or from where we can change the location. So let's go back here in the layout component, and now here we will add right sidebar. So for this we will add div class name, width full, medium width 25%, hidden below, margin sum top. Okay, so this will be the right side view. Okay, so here we'll get an right side view, and for that we'll create here file right sidebar. Okay, so here we are getting that right sidebar. Okay, let's go back to this sidebar. Now here we will first implement the left sidebar. As we can see in the Figma, we will be have different options: dashboard and food order, order history, settings, and others. So let's go back here in the sidebar. So first here let's have here div. So first we will create here a logo, some margin. Okay, let's have here heading h1 correctly. Okay, so we'll give it here class name, text of 2xl, font bold, and for the dot we'll give span. Let's give it here class name, text. Here we'll give it text primary, and on the index.css let's give it here at theme, and in the theme we will give it here. So here we will give it in the theme, we'll give here color primary. Okay, like this. So here in the sidebar also we can give it text of excel. This is the logo text that we have applied, we have given here previously. Also let's give some padding. So here now we will define other navigation items. For that let's give it here nav class name, some space y06. It will calculate some margin from bottom and the top. Now here we'll use the link from React Router DOM to, and the icon that we'll use from hero icons, that is home icons. home icon, class name, height 6, width of 6. Here let's apply some styles, flex, item center, gap, and the text color. And here we'll give span dashboard. With this, let's edit, let's create others as well. I'm just going to copy and paste here link. Here we will have two restaurants messages. Let's give it here chat bubble left icon, chat icon, and here we'll give the message. Similarly, let's put it two more links here. Okay, so these all are the links. Also here we'll put it the setting and the banner. So let's add it here. So this is the icon for the setting, and here will we have a banner. Okay, this I will put it at position absolute bottom. Okay, bottom 20, or let's give it bottom 10, width 64. Now let's give it some smaller width. Right, this is for the upgrading banner. Okay, so this is our left sidebar. Okay, so here I've added some margin bottom for these links. This looks better now. Okay, now if we see this in the mobile view, this will be look like responsive. So what we will do here on the layout components, let's create a side bar backdrop. So first let's create a state here, constant is side bar open, set is side bar open, use state. Okay, so and here on click set is sidebar open. Okay, so this will basically create a background dark color when there will be a mobile view. If there is not a mobile view like a desktop, it will not display. So like we see, this is just created a sidebar backdrop background color to dark. Now we'll use this at here in this sidebar. So here we'll give it interface sidebar prop is sidebar open boolean, and here we will check if so here I'm going to override this Okay, so here I added the height, screen and background white, some padding, flex column, justify between, fixed position, and on the medium devices width it will be static, some z index, and here we'll check is sidebar open. Then we will add the left property, if else left we will calculate, and also some shadow. So here we'll give, now if we see, when we will come as an here, will not display this left sidebar, right? So for that, here let's create it a button. Also here we will add this sidebar and then, and now here we will give a button set this sidebar open. In this side, okay, so here we will give the button if the sidebar is not open, that is on the mobile view. This is coming at here, we will fix this, and if not, then we will display the menu like this. Okay, so for that, let's here height of 6, let's add some margin top, display the same background. Okay, we have copied this and put it at here. So this is the hamburg icon that we are displaying on mobile. On click of it, will display this menu, and here will be have an option, close option icon, and when we click on it, this will go out. So this is the desktop view. We just created a state here, is sidebar open and set is sidebar open. This is we are displaying for the background dark when we go into the mobile view, and when we will open this sidebar, so this will be gray out. And on the sidebar, if we go to the sidebar, if is sidebar open, we'll add the left property to 0. Also here on the desktop devices, we will give us some width, static width, and on the mobile devices we will give width of 60%. Here this is the close button that we will display when the sidebar is open, right? On the only on the uh, mobile devices. So on the desktop and other it will be unhidden. Okay, now we'll create the header. As we see in the design, there is a search bar and the name of the person who will log in to the system. So for that, let's create a header component here, and that component I'm adding to in the that I'm adding into the layout. So let's give it header.tsx. Okay, and this header component will use that here. This will be a button, and after that main header. So now in this component, let's give it header, class name, flex, justify between, item center, and some padding on y-axis. Let's give it 4, and some padding horizontally, that will give it 6, that is 24 pixel. and here we will give a div class name lex item center and some gap. So now here we will give it the heading like this: h2 class name text and the username. So username, let's give it username here. This username we will calculate uh, the member who has logged in to the system. For now I'm giving it as a static, okay, like this. And now there will be an component for the search bar. So for that we will define here that component, the search bar. So for that let's create a new component. uh, so that new component we will give it here search bar dot tsx, okay, and let's define a react component. Okay, now this search component will be have some props, okay, like the placeholder. So for that we will give here our interface search bar props, and let's give it here placeholder and class name. We'll give this, define this prop here. So we'll give it placeholder and class name. So these are the props that we have defined in this interface as a type, or a props type, as a props type. Okay. Now let's give it here a query state, because whenever we will search anything in the search component, that we will hold in the state, that would be a query set query use state. Okay. So now here first let's create the component visually, the component that we need to display a search bar. So for that we'll give it here class name. Let's give it relative, and the class name that we will get it as a props. So we can override that if it required. Here div class name relative. Here will basically display that magnify glass icon. Div class name absolute. Here I will just give some class name properties like inset y left some flags and item center. So these all are the styles properties that I've defined it here. Okay, now here we'll give the component magnify glass icon from the hero icons, and for that too we will give the class name. So for that also we will style the icon, the width and height, and the text. Now here we need to add a input. This would be type text and some styling. I'm going to insert here value query on change. Here we'll create a handle on change. So let's give this here constant handle search change use callback. So here we'll get it that event. From that event we will get the value from e dot target dot value. and then we will set it in the query. In the search bar component, we will use it here. Search bar, okay, like this. So this is our search bar component, and let's give it some placeholder here. So by default, even if we not pass that placeholder, let's give this at here in the placeholder is equal to, let's give that placeholder here. Okay, okay. This is the search component. Now when we'll search it, we should have to display that search list over here. So for that, we will create a list here. The items, the search query that we will uh, search in the search bar component, it will get some result. So that result we need to display it here. So for that, let's change. So for that, let's give this here. So let's add here. Now first, if there is an query, right, we will display an button basically to clear the searches. This will be an styling on this button component, and on click here we need to clear that searches. So for that, let's create a method here, constant clear search, set query clear search. Okay, and here we will display x mark icon and that same styling on this icon. Okay. Like if I will give a pizza, so here I'll get that cross icon. When I click it, then query will be reset. So this is the search bar component. We have displayed visually how it will look. Now to make it functional, like when we will search the query and display the when and if we have to display that list, so for that, let's create a state here, search results constant. So the search result here, interface search results id, it can be a string or number, name, type, like this can be a dish or restaurant. So let's give it here the type, it can be dish or restaurant image. Okay, so this will be an search result interface. Now we'll use at here result set results use state search result. Also one prop to store if it is searching, that is searching, use state false. Also we need to one more state to show the result and one search ref basically here. Okay, okay, so now in this method, if value, like generally like in the search component, we create it as a debounce function. Like you basically add some timer on a debounce function, and once that timer will be complete, then you call that API. So for that, like you can create a debounce function is to make an API call. Also, we can handle a one logic here, like value dot length. If it is greater than 2, this will just not make an API call for if it is a single length. If the length of the text is 1, if the length of text is greater than 2, then we will make API call. Set is searching view, set show result view, and here we'll basically create the search API request. So for that, here we'll create search request. So that can be like query value. Okay, once we have created the search request, that then we will pass to the function to search the result. So for that, let's give it here constant search result equal to, and let's here a folder API, new folder, search search.ts. Just adding a basic function here, search search API. Okay, here let's give it a thing. We will get the query. So for the query, let's create here a folder type index.ts. Okay, so this is the search options that type I've added it here, and let's use this. Okay, so this will return the result, right? So this will make an API call at here. So for now, I'll just give one dummy function basically that will return the some list of data. So for that, let's create here a folder data dummy response dummy.ts. Okay, so this is the function that basically check if the query includes pizza, then it will return like this. If it is in burger, then it will return some other results, and if it is in sushi, then it will result the result related to sushi. So this is just a basic function for the dummy response, but yeah, eventually we'll make an API call. So let's give it here constant response equal to smart search query. Okay, and here we'll return promise dot resolve response, return promise dot resolve response, and here we'll call that await search API search request. Okay, once we will get the search results, we will pass it to set results. Here we'll give it search results, set is searching call, else set is searching, sorry, set results empty. On the clear search also, we'll give it set is searching call, set results empty array. Okay, so this is the ref that I'm passing it here. Basically, when we will click on outside, we need to hide that list if the list is there, the search results, right? So for that, let's create a use effect here. And here we will check create constant handle click outside. Okay, so like this and this. So if there will be a handle click outside, it is search_ref.current, and search_ref.current contains uh, event.target, then will show set result, show result false, as on the unmount component, else we will not do anything. And on the mouse down, we will just basically registering this event listener, and on unmount the function, we are removing that event listener. Okay, now at here, if show results, so this is basically will show the results. Okay, so let me add here a div. Okay, so here we will also give that styles, and now here we'll check if searching searching, then will display just a div. Okay, so if it is searching, we will display a text searching, and let's add here class name, some padding, text center, text gray 500. Now here else, we'll check if the result dot length is greater than 0, then we will display the list. Otherwise we will display no results found for the that query. Results dot length greater than 0 will basically display the list. Else here we'll check if query dot length is greater than 2, we will display a div with text, as we will display, as we will give null. Here let's give it class name, some padding, and here we'll do results dot map result. Here would be key and some styling, and at here will basically display the div. Okay, so here we will basically display a div. Let me format it. Okay, the result dot name and result dot type. Also here, when we will click on any of the list item, we'll basically display that we will basically navigate to that result item, or if it is a dish or a restaurant. Okay, so we go here and let's search pizza. Okay, now if we search any of the dish, so if we can see here we are getting that dummy data, if it is a dish, restaurant, or anything. uh, and if we search sushi, we'll get some other result. Also we have an option to clear that result. Now when we will displaying the results, when we are displaying the results, and if user will click on particular item, we should navigate to that item. For that, we need to add the, so for that we need to handle it here. We need to call that function on click. Let's create a function here, constant handle result click. This basically get result, search result type, and in this function will set so results false, set query empty. Easily we can call clear search, and here we'll check if result dot type is equals restaurant, then we will basically navigate. So for the navigate, we'll use a hook here, use navigation, use navigate. The hook we'll use it here, and let's give this navigate to the restaurant, and here we'll pass result dot id. Else if result dot type is equal dish, then we will uh, display a model here. So display model or navigate to dish page. Navigate to dish. Okay, so this is our component, this search component. Like this will navigate to that restaurant. And now after the search component, here we'll create a banner and the categories. Next, on the dashboard component, we will add the banner and the categories. So for that, I've added the assets in the code. Here we have assets, inside assets folder, image and all the images. So let's go back to the dashboard component. The dashboard component, we have created this dashboard. Okay, now here first we will create and type. Let's create the interface food category item. In this, I'll declare id. Id is here, id is number, name, string, icon would be a string. Okay, so this is the food category item, and also we will create the food category items. Before that, let's have here a banner. We'll put class name, padding y. So for the banner, here I'll create div class name. Let's give here background primary rounded. To giving here it will give the border. So here it we define the border radius. It would be in some 8 pixel around, and some padding, margin bottom, flags, item center, justify between, overflow hidden, and the position. Okay, so this is an div element on the dashboard page for the banner. Now here we will add the image, on the image that we have to display on the banner. So for that, let's give it here source require assets image banner 2. Okay, and in the class name, let's give it alt here discount offer, class name height of 48, object cover. Let's give the image here import banner image from assets image banner 2.png, and this we will pass it at here, right, like this. And here we will put it the text. So some text that we need to display it at here, like this, and round it. Okay, so here we will get an text class name absolute. The position would be an absolute, because this the text we have to display on the image. So some padding, class name max width is we will calculate the max width h2. So here we will display some text. Let me paste the text here. Okay, and the some styling over the text. After this, we also have to display some more text, so that we will display it here like this. So this is our choice if we want to display it. Otherwise, this will be fine. Instead, we can display a button here, button class name. Also, we have displayed one button on the sidebar. The same we will display it at here. This. You can also create a reusable component, a common component that you can display over here. Now next, we will create the categories component. For the categories component, let's have here a component categories. So the component that we have, the interface that we have added here, let's move this to the categories. Now here we will create a state categories, set categories, use state, food category item, okay, like this. And here let's have that food category item, food category item, okay. And the icons, we will basically pick this from the assets, import bakery from sets image, and here we will have the baked icon, bake.png, and over here we will display that categories. So to display the categories, first is to we need a one heading, the heading, and view all. So for that, we will create a common component link, and here section link dot tsx. Let's have here interface section link props label string on click, okay, like this. So this will be a section link props, and that would an expect that here label and on click, okay. So for that, here we will create the class name. This would be an flags, right, because we need to display it in a flags in a row, and this space justify between the justify content space between items would be in center, align items would be in the center, margin bottom, okay. And here let's have that heading h2 class name text on board, and here we'll display the label, and here will be have link class name. So here we'll basically style this link view all, and along with this there would be an icon. Let's say this would be a button, and on click we'll pass it as here. Okay. And now here we will use this section link. So first here last name margin bottom some margin, and here first we will give that section link. So first I will create that, give this section link label category on click. Here there will be an on click. Let's use this categories component at here. Let's use the categories component at here. Category, okay, like this. Let's decrease some padding here. I don't need this much, so this looks fine. Now we'll add the categories. Now we'll map the basically categories over here. So for that, let's have div class name grid colon. Let's give it 6 and gap of 4 categories dot map category. So this is how we map the array to an component, if we need to display a array of components. So for that, let's have here div. Now when we will iterate an array and displaying as many components, there would be an important, we should pass key. So key would be an category.id. Here some styling like background white, border radius, let's give it large, padding of 4, and some more flags, flags colon, item center, justify center, cursor pointer. On hover, let's give this shadow position, shadow. Here we'll give div class name, text of the excel, and margin bottom, category dot icon. Here we can define the height and width. Let's first do the mapping, then we'll define that category dot name. Okay, so now here we'll basically display an image. So here we can check category dot type of category dot icon string. We can display category dot icon. Otherwise, let's give it image. So category dot icon. So here let's display the image, and here let's define the height and width. Height we need it and some width. Let me add all the all the images here. Okay, so here I've imported all the images. Let's map it. Okay, so here I've imported all the images. Let's map to the respective each item. Burger we will displayed at here. Beverages, non-veg, seafood. Okay, so this is how we will display that. So this is the categories component that we have created. So this is the categories component. Now next we will display some popular dishes, and also like we can display our recent order items. So for the popular dishes items, we will create a component that we need to display that here on the dashboard. So for the food dishes, let's here have a type in index.ts. We'll create an interface food item, and here let's give all that variable, and here let's give let's give here all that fields that we need in the food item: id, number, name, price, image, and some more attributes. Before moving forward, if I see the design in responsive like in mobile, the interface here it does not look exactly the way we need. So to make some changes at here, we will change in the categories component to make it mobile responsive, grid colon 3, and for the M devices, for the desktop devices, let's give it padding of 0, else we will give some padding. Let's give this padding here. And for the desktop, let's give it with 2. Okay, so this is for the mobile.
So now in the dashboard component, here we will give for the text of, as let's give the height 40, and this category is the logic that we have added here. Let's put it and display a dashboard. Okay, so this is the mobile responsive view, and for the header flex row, else we give here flex column gap of 4. Okay, so this is the mobile responsive view. Okay. So now let's move on to the uh, dish popular dish section. So here for that I'll create a component renting popular food items or popular dish, and let's give it the name popular dish. So first here we'll add that section link, margin bottom, label, popular dishes, and on click. So popular dish component we will use at here. This is for popular dishes. And for the popular dishes, let's have here a state popular items, set popular items, use state food item. Okay, here I'll create a food items array, food items, food item. Let's add the array of items. Let's add the items over here. So this is the items. I'll attach the images in the so here we are using some random images like this. We go and check. Just I have used it from the Google. Okay, so this is the some dummy data for these food items, and let's set it at here food items, and here we will iterate that popular items map item first. On surrounding around this we'll create a wrapper, a div element. In that we will pass a class name grade. So for the desktop we can give grade colons 3 and gap of 6. By default let's give it grade colons 2. So here this will be an div element. First let's pass an key item dot id, class name background white, rounded, large, the border radius, some padding, position, cursor pointer, over, shadow, large, transition on, duration. Okay, and on click here we will handle the on click constant, handle dish click item food item. Okay, and in this div will display if there is an discount. So like if there is a discount, even we can create a higher order component, but you can also create a two components if there is a discount or not a discount. For the discount you can create an higher order component, but over here like we can just display item. So I'm displaying it here only item dot. If there is an item dot discount, then here I'll display a span class name absolute of some left. Let's give it to background red, text white, some padding, and here let's give item dot discount. Okay, with this let's add a button here to add that into the wish list icon. So let's add a button here to add the item to and favorites food items. So for that we'll give it class name. So let me put here some styles item dot favorite heart icon height and width. Okay, and here there will be an on click. Okay, so this is the icon, the heart icon to add the food item to the favorites. Now next here we will display a div section that would be an image and rating along with the text. So here will be have image, so item dot image object cover rounded large transition transform duration. On hover we will set the scale to 105. So this is an image. Here will basically display the star ratings. So for that, let's say here render stars item dot rating, and let's have that here in the utils new folder. We'll put it in the utils file. So this render stars, let's have this uh, over here in this component of function. This would be a function where basically we will put it in the stars and array, and then from the for loop we will push if the rating a match, if I is less than equal to rating, let's say you are passing a rating 3, then we'll push only 3 stars. uh, so let's say if you are supposed passing the rating 3, then if there isn't rating, then we will pass the yellow color, otherwise we'll pass the gray color. Okay, this, and here the rating we have passed it. Okay, so we are pushing to the array like this. So here would be an text and the color. If there is a rating less than equal to this I, then we will pass to yellow, otherwise gray. So this will display like this. And now after the uh, okay, now after the rendering this rating, will display here the heading item dot name. Let's put this in a class name text center font medium some margin. So this is the popular dishes, but if we say this is not scrolling, we can't see this scrollable at here even if we open this in a mobile view. So to fix it, let's go to back to the layout, and over here we need to add overflow auto. Okay. So now this is scrollable. Also in the dashboard popular dish, so now we'll display add to cart button over here in the in this cart. So for that, let's make a change here. We'll create a div class name flex justify between item center. Okay, so here we will display the price along with the button to add into the cart. So let's give it here span class name font bold text primary. Okay, and here we will display the price dish item dot price dot to fixed two decimal places is, and here will display a button. So for the button, let's give a class name background primary. Now the primary is working because if you remember we have added here a theme color primary. So now anywhere, so this is a where so this is a variable that we have declared. Now anywhere if we use primary, this will refer to this color. So we can use it with text background, or like anywhere if we have to declare a color property, so there we can use it. Also like we can use it text primary. So for now here let's give it text white, padding some padding, rounded background. We already have given the background. On forward transition color, and here we'll display plus icon. So class name weight 5 height 5. That's the class name 5 weight 5. Okay. This is this is the plus icon. Okay, so next we will create the restaurant page. If we click on the restaurants,
it is displaying nothing. So we will build the page for the restaurants. So let's go back to the app.tsx file, and here and over here we will add route path is equal to restaurants element. Let's create a page here, give it name restaurants, and here let's pass that restaurants. Okay. Okay, so in the restaurants page, we will list down all the restaurants. So first we will create a type for the restaurants. Let's give here the file type.ts, and here I will paste the and here we will add the types that we need. Okay, like this is one of the type restaurant, in which there would be an ID, name, image, rating, and all other attributes and all other properties that we require. Okay, I'm going to add one more type here, that would be cuisine filter. Basically, if we have to filter the cuisine, let's say there can be many cuisine, American, Indian, or Japanese, Mexican, so all that we can be filter on the restaurant page. And also at here I'll create one file, constants.ts, and here we will put it the data export constant restaurant data. This would be an array of objects. So for example, here I'll just put it the some dummy data. Okay, and this would be the type restaurant of array. Okay, and also in the constants file, let's add the data for cuisines also. Export constant cuisine data, and the cuisines that I'm going to add here, so let's add some dummy cuisines. This would be an some data for the cuisine. Also we need these sort options. Okay, now in the restaurants, let's implement this component. So for this, first let's have here a states, some states, like we need a restaurant data. Use state type would be restaurant, set restaurant. Okay, so let's say give it here restaurant data. Also cuisine, cuisine filter, cuisine filters, use state, cuisine filter, cuisine filters, cuisine data. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so let's give here a class name padding bottom, and here we will give the banner. So here we will give the banner. Let's give it here div class name background primary rounded large. Here let's give this image, okay, like this, and here we will give few more styles. Okay. So this is a banner image over here, and now at here we will give the text on the banner, absolute position, padding, max width, and here we will pass some text. Okay, there will be one heading of which text to Excel font, bold, text white, and discover restaurants also at here, and this would be an some description of the text. Okay. Okay, so this is the banner. Let's format it. Now here we will create the filters and filters and sort options. Okay, so here let's add a div class name margin bottom. Now it will give flex justify between flex colon for the for the desktop. We will give flex row, and for the desktop we'll give item center gap 4. Okay, so here we will give the div for the cuisine, and let's give it class name flex
flex wrap gap to cuisine filters dot map. Okay, here let's give it button key filter dot id class name px padding of x-axis 4 and some padding on y rounded full text sm small text background primary here filter dot name, right? Like this. So now we need to check if the filter is selected, right? Then only we will display the background primary color. If it is not filtered, then we will display the white color. So for that, let's change this to first curly braces, and with this, okay, now here we will check active cuisine type. Let's create one state active cuisine, set active cuisine, use state. So by default the active cuisine uh, would be cuisine filter. Active cuisine would be cuisine data, this the first cuisine filter 0, and here let's check if active cuisine is equal to filter active cuisine dot id is equal to filter dot id, then we will pass background primary, right? Else we will give background white. Here we need to give background primary. Okay, so if it is active, then it will give we will give the background primary along with let's give the text white. Okay. Now on click, right? So on click we will set the active cuisine, set active cuisine filter. Now this is the cuisine filter, and now here we will create the sorting option. So for that, let's give here the class name flex item center gap to adjust adjustment horizontal icon height width and color, okay, like this. And here we will give the select. So class name background white, border color rounded, text focus outline none, and on focus we'll give ring 2 and focus ring primary. Okay, and here we will give the value. Value would be in here also state constant active sort, set active sort, use state string, and by default this would be an rating active sort. Now if you remember, we have added here active these sort options, so we'll use these sort options. So for that we will give here sort options dot map option, and here we pass the option key option dot id value option dot id and label, right, the name, so that we will get give it here option dot name. Okay, like this. Now on change set active sort target dot value. So this is the filters and sorting options. Now here we will display the restaurants, and these restaurants we will display in a filtered data constant filtered data set filtered, let's give it filtered restaurants. So here we'll give the we'll create a filtered restaurants set filtered restaurants use state restaurants. Also here let's have use effect. This use effect will be triggered when we will make any changes when there will be a changes in restaurants, active cuisine, and active sort. Okay, so here we'll check if active cuisine is equal to, if active cuisine is not equal is equal to 1, then we'll do here, let's have first results, restaurants results equal to results dot filter restaurant dot cuisine type. This is equal to active cuisine dot name. Okay, because in the restaurants data we are storing the cuisine type as the name of the cuisine. Now here this sorting, if active sort is equal to rating, if id here is rating, so here we do results dot sort b dot rating minus a dot rating. Else if active sort is equal delivery time, then we will do results dot sort a dot delivery time minus p dot delivery time. Else if active sort is equal to mean order, that is the minimum order. Okay. This will display in a decreasing the highest rating. This will give the lowest delivery time on the top and the minimum order quantity. And after that we will set filtered restaurants result. Okay, so this will take care of the filtering and the sorting options, right, of sorting the restaurants data. Okay, now here we will display the restaurants card. So for that, let's give it class name grid. By default we will display grid columns 1. For the same, let's give it grid columns 2. For desktops, grid columns 3. For the medium devices width, for the large like desktop, grid columns 4, and Excel grid column 5, and some gap. Okay, and here we will create a restaurant card component. So let's give it restaurant card dot css store. Okay, so this will be a link restaurant id is equal to id, and then key id, class name background white rounded large, overflow hidden shadow on hover, and here we will give a div. So at here we will give filter restaurants dot map restaurant card restaurant dot id. Okay, so here we will give class name relative and height, some height image. So here let's give the image width full, height full, and object cover. Okay. This will be the mobile view, and this is how we can filter that also. Right? Okay, so now here on the image, let's give a button for adding it to the favorites. Button class name, here I'm going to give some styling. Okay, absolute top and right white on the hover, and color transition colors. And here we'll use this favorite, then the same we will give this uh, icon this. So after this we will give a div. So after this we will give div the text of the restaurant name and cuisine and price range. So let's give it here absolute, because we need to give it on the image the text. Bottom 0, left 0, right 0, background gradient to top, from black to transparent, text white, text large, font bold, and here name, like this. This looks better. Okay, now here we'll give the paragraph, cuisine type, and price range. Last name, text white, and text small. Cuisine type, price range. So for example, here if we can give the price range like this, let's give it here $100 to 400. Okay. Okay, so I updated. Okay, so I updated the price range, and now over here we will give the rating and uh, the rating count and the delivery time. So for that, let's create a div. We put it at here, out on below the image, in, on below the image, flex item center. Here we will display the stars, the same that we have created on the dashboard. Popular dish, yeah, this function. So let's put it here in the components common rating dot css. Okay, here flex rating, and the rating that we need to pass it rating, like this. Okay, let's make the changes in the rating component. So over here, we will pass flex and flex wrap, and here we will display. So here we are doing the array dot from length 5, and in the at here we are just displaying a span, the spans or the 5 span, and if the index is less than equal to rating, then we will display a yellow color, otherwise we'll display gray. So this is the rating. Now let's go back to restaurant card. Okay, here we have displayed the rating. Now after this we'll display span, where we display span, class name, text white, so text small, and text gray. Okay, like this. Okay, now after this we will display the delivery time. So for that, let's create a div, flex item center, justify between. Okay, and in this we will display div. So here I'll put it these styles, clock icon. Okay, so now here let's give it span, the delivery time, minute, distance, kilometer away. Okay, and after this we'll display the minimum order, class name, min order, model. Okay, so these are the restaurant cards. If there is no any restaurant card, so for that we will display the empty state, right? So let's add it here in the, okay, if the length of filter restaurant is 0, will display no restaurant found. So like for the Mexican, let's go back here, we change this to Japanese. So for the Mexican, there is no restaurant found. So we will display this error, this empty state. Okay. Now, when we will click on the restaurant, then we will display the restaurant menu. So for that, let's implement the restaurant menu. Okay. So in the restaurant card, we'll make one small change. So here, let's pass this as an ID, and in the app.tsx, so here we will give route restaurant ID, and let's create a page restaurant menu, and let's create a folder restaurant menu, and in this we will create a component restaurant menu dot tsx, and this is the component. So let's give this at here restaurants menu. Okay, so this is the restaurant menu. Now here we'll use params id. Using the id, we will calculate the restaurant data, right? So for that, let's add here state restaurant, set restaurant restaurant is use state. Okay, and here we'll give the menu categories, set menu categories is equal to use state. Okay, here I'm adding more interface. This is for menu category and the menu item. Let's give this here menu category. Okay, now here we add use effect. This can be changed on id. So first we will calculate the data of the restaurant. So let's add a folder here, utils dot ts. Okay, so this is the restaurant data dot find the restaurant id. This will give us this restaurant by id, the data. So here we will calculate data equal to get restaurant by id, and we will pass the id here, and let's pass this to number. So we are expecting the id should be a number type. Okay, now here we will add the data for the menu, right? Okay, so the here in the constants, I'm adding the data for menu. So this will be the menu category. So these are some data for the menu. In these objects, there will all the fields that we need, like in the items, id, name, description, price, image, rating, discount, and if it is favorite. So now at here in the utils.ts, we will find the get restaurant by id using this method, and also there will be one more method that will calculate the menu items, the menu categories. So for that, let's add here menu categories. Okay, so this will give us the data for the menu categories. Okay, and then now in the restaurant menu, here if data set restaurant, and then we'll get menu data. get menu for restaurant, and here we'll pass that restaurant ID. The same we will need to pass it as a number. So here we typecast these two number, and then set menu categories, menu data. Okay, so this is basically set that data to the menu categories. Okay, so now here we will implement the component. Let's give some padding of bottom, and now here we'll create a cover page, right? The cover image. Okay, so here I'm giving some styles, and then we need to give it image. So for the image, let's give it source restaurant dot image, restaurant dot name, and some styles here. Okay, so let's go back to the restaurants. Now here, this will be the cover image of that restaurant, and here we will display the text on image. So for that, let's create a div, some styling. Okay, so this will be an okay, so this is the heading, and let's give the top item, and we can give it the bottom and some padding. After this, we will display the rating, flex rating, restaurant dot rating. Okay, and so let's give the here gap, and here we need that same this span. Okay, so this flex column, okay, with this, and after this we will add the cuisine type and price range. So here let's add the restaurant cuisine type and price range, and same we need to give it the white color. Let's format this. Okay, so after this I will here I will give the restaurant info. So for the restaurant info, let's add a component, restaurant info dot tsx, and here we will pass expect a restaurant. Okay, background white rounded, and here I'm going to give one more div. In this we will be have here a one div for the image, and this we will display it here, restaurant info restaurant, and after this div will be have here one more div. Okay, so here I've added one more div. There will be a map pin icon, and then clock icon and phone icon. Okay, so this is the uh, restaurant info. Now here we will create a restaurant menu, the restaurant menu details on below. Okay, in the restaurant menu, so here let's create a component, restaurant menu category dot tsx, and here we will expect there would be an category, menu category. Okay, so for that we will give here a div submersion. So first we will be have a category name, Okay, and let's call this from here menu categories dot map category restaurant menu category dot id. Okay, like this. Okay, now here we will give one div, basically a grid. Okay, and here we will give category dot items dot map item. So here will be have a div. Okay, so here will be have a div in which we will pass a key item dot id and class name. Let me add styles here. So first we will give if there is a discount. Okay, if there is a discount, so like this we will give the discount item dot discount and a span item dot discount. After this, here we will create a button for the same like the way we did earlier for the icon for the favorites, right? And then we will give a image. So after button, let's add here a image. Okay, so this is the div for, let's see, background gray. Okay, like this. And after this div, will be have one div to display the rating, flex, justify center, and some margin on bottom rating item dot rating. Okay, and after this we will display the item name and description. So this will be the item name and the description. And after this we will create a button to add basically into the cart plus icon background primary. Okay, like this. So this is all the menu categories and menu items, right? This will is basically displaying that item price. The same I've copied it from the dashboard the way we were displaying there. Okay, so this is dynamic. Any restaurant we will click, it will display the uh, different menu. If there is no menu, it will not display anything. Okay, so this is the restaurant page and the restaurant menu items. Now next we will work on the adding the menu items to the cart, right, to place the order. So for that, let's first we will set up the Redux store, and then we will create a slice to take care of uh, this to take care of the reducer. S- So in that we will add all that selectors and the actions that we need to dispatch while adding the menu item to the cart. So let's do that. If you remember in the search bar, we have added on handle click, it will navigate to the restaurant. So let's click, give it here restaurant because we have added that restaurant uh, route. So now when we will search over here any of the items, like there is an tasty delights restaurant that we have, and when we will click on it, this will navigate to that restaurant. So the search functionality is also working, right? So the next we will set up the Redux first. To set up the Redux, first we need to add the dependencies. Okay, these are two dependencies that we need for the Redux. Okay, to start with the Redux, first we will set up a store. For setting up the store, let's add a folder here and we will give it name store. In this, let's have a file store.ts, and here we will configure the store. for that, let's create a constant dot create configure store. In this dot we have to pass the reducer. So for that, let's add a folder feature. So like one state which I'm going to add here, card dot. So one, for example, the one reducer that we need is card dot ts, the card reducer. The user can add the order from the multiple restaurants. So to maintain that, we will have multiple cart options which will be belong to one restaurant. So this is the restaurant cart interface, and now here let's have interface for cart state. Here let's give it cart restaurant cart. This would be an array because we will maintain multiple cards each belong to individual restaurant. Active cart index. This will hold the active cart text. So let's have here initial state. Let's give it the initial state is cart state cart empty active index cart index. Now here we will create a cart slice. Okay, so here let's pass the name cart state, initial state, reducer. So now at here we will pass the reducers that we would need. For example, we need add item. This would be an action which will be have that state and action. Payload action. So this will be the type of item, cart item, restaurant ID, and the restaurant name. Okay, so let's give it here the ID. Okay, so this is we will get it from the action.payload. Next is we will find if the cart have the items for this restaurant. So for that, let's here cart index cart dot restaurant ID is equal to restaurant ID. If cart index is greater than equal to 0, else we'll create new cart. Restaurant cart. This we will set it restaurant ID, restaurant name, items, quantity 1, total amount, item dot price. Now here we are setting the when we add the item to the cart. Now we are setting it, if it is new cart, then we can set only the one item at a time. Then when we will add it new, then this will take care. But at here, because we are adding it only the one item, so for that, that is so because of that we have given here items the quantity 1. So now let's add into state dot carts dot push new cart. and state dot active card index 0, or we can give it here state dot cards dot length -1. So here activate cart index we will give it because we have pushed it the last cart item, the last cart. So for because of that we have given here the last item, that is the length -1. Okay, if the cart index is greater than equal to 0, then we will find the existing item index state dot cards dot find index. So first here we will pass that cart index, and then we will check items dot find index item dot id is equal to item dot id. So if existing item is greater than equal to 0, is state dot cards cart index dot items dot push item quantity 1. Okay, so if there is no id that found in the cart index, so then we will set it the quantity 1 and add the item to the cart items, right? And here if the item is already exist, that means we need to just update the quantity. So for that let's have here state dot cards dot cart index dot items existing items dot quantity plus plus, right? And then we also need to update the total amount. So for that let's have here state dot cards cart index dot total amount is equal to state dot cards cart index dot items dot reduce. Okay, now here uh, the total and item, this is the previous value and this would be an item. So here we will set total plus item dot price into item dot quantity. Okay. Okay. So here it will initialize from to the 0 this total value, right? The not the total value. So in the reduce, this will be a previous, right? This will be a previous value, and here this is the cart item. So we will calculate total plus item dot price into item dot quantity, and by default this is set it to 0. So this is basically calculate the total amount, and state dot active card index. So this is the reducer. This is the action for adding the item to the cart. Okay, so next is we will handle here set. Next here we will handle it remove item. So let me copy this here. Okay, here we will pass it the item ID and the restaurant ID. Okay, so the first here this same logic. Okay, so here first we are calculating the cart index. If the cart index is found in that in the carts, if the cart index will found in the carts, then we'll check here if cart index. So now here we'll check if cart index is greater than equal to 0. So if the cart index is greater than equal to 0, that means the item is there in the cart, right? We have a valid cart in the store. So let's first we will calculate the index item. Okay, the index item we will calculate the same logic. State dot like this. Here, this is the item ID. Now, once we get it found the item index, and here we will check if item index item is greater than equal to 0. So if state dot cards cart index dot items dot index item dot quantity is greater than 1, then we will just decrease the quantity minus minus. Else, that means if the quantity is only 1, right, then we need to remove that item from the cart. So for removing the item we will add it here state dot cards cart index dot slice, sorry, the items dot slice item index and 1. Okay, after deleting the after deleting the quantity or the item from the cart, we need to set it the total amount. So for that we will handle the same logic at here. Okay, now here if the state dot cart cart index dot items dot length is equal to 0, that means we don't need that card anymore into the state, so we will delete it here. State dot cards dot slice card index dot slice state dot active card index equal to state dot cards dot length is greater than 0. Okay, this is the remove item. Now we will have also set, we also need to add one set active card state action payload payload action number. If action dot payload is greater than equal to 0 and action dot payload is less than state dot cards dot length, then state dot active card index is equal to action dot payload. Okay. This is basically when we need to switch the card Then we need to set the active card index, right? The set active card index, we will check it if the card action dot payload is greater than equal to 0 and the action dot payload is less than the card length. Then we'll just set it the state dot active card index is action dot payload. Okay. Also, I'm adding here two more the reducer functions. The clear card. This will basically we will send the ID for the so we will just basically send it the restaurant ID, and then we will calculate cart index, and then we will just splice it, and this is the clear all carts. After this, we will set here export constant cart slice dot actions, add item, remove item, set active cart, clear all carts, clear cart, clear all cart, and here we will do export default. We basically export the default reducer, export default cart slice dot reducer, and now we will use it at here in the store. Import cart state from feature cart cart state, so this cart reducer, okay, and here export type root state, return type of store get state, and this will be an app dispatch. Also, we would need an hooks here. So for that, let's add here hooks.ts, and these are the two hooks that we would need. So this is, I've set it here. Also, we need a selector. Even we can add it here. Export constant. Also, we need a selector. So let's add it here. These selectors that we would need: export constant, select cards, state, root state, state dot card state dot cards. Okay, and here let's have active card index, select active card index, state dot. Okay, so now we will provide the provider at here. So this is needed. So this is actually needed. We are providing the store value on the starting of the app. It will basically wrap all the component around this provider, and here we need to pass it the store, and store we will get it from the store.ts. Okay, so now in any of the component inside the app, because in the app we have all that navigations, we can use the selectors and dispatch from the Redux. Okay, now we will build the right sidebar where will be have a profile section and options to change the address. Along with we will be have a card details, okay, on the bottom, and there will be a checkout option. So this is the right sidebar, and let's go to that right side. Okay, now let's go to that component. In the pages we have, this is the right sidebar. Okay, so here we will give bell icon. Let's give the class name height 5, width 5. Okay, also along with we will be have settings icon. Here will be have setting icon of 6 to icon, class name, height 5, width 5, and let's give this class name lex wrap. Okay, and some gap. Here we will give the image source alt profile, class name background gray, rounded, large, width 48 pixel, height 48 pixel. Okay, here will we have that image item center. Here we will display that image. Let's say, okay, so this is the image. Okay, this is the image, and now here we are not going to display the balance. It will be an direct payment after the checkout. So here we need to display the address. Let's create a component ad address. Okay, in the address component, here we'll display. Let's give it class name margin bottom h2 your address, text large, font bold, and some margin. Let's add a state here. Selected address, set selected address, use state. So here we will create a div. This will display the address basically. Flex item start, some gap bottom, and here will be have the div flex justified between. So we need to create it like this. There will be a location icon and the address, and there will be a change. Okay, the change button. Let's find the location. Yeah, map pin icon. Okay, so this is the icon. This is the mapping icon, and here we will display the address, class name, flex wrap. I will display like this: class name, font medium, class name, text, Gurgaon sector 12. With here we need some gap. This will become here, and here we need to add some gap. Let's give it here flex 2, and now at here we will display the button, class name rounded, outline primary, width of 120 pixel, height of 48 pixel, item center. Okay, we need this, and here the border color, border primary, over background primary, over text white. Okay, so after this will we have that add detail and add note option, basically two buttons for adding the detail and add note. Okay, so these are two buttons for add detail and add note. Also here we will display sorry yeah, we need to display these two buttons in the right sidebar. So at here after this we'll display these buttons, and now at here we will display a cart component. So for the cart component, let's create a cart, new file, cart.tsx, and this cart component we will display on the right sidebar. cart. Okay, so in the cart, let's have here constant cart use app selector, select carts, and here let's give it class name merchant, and here we will display carts dot length is greater than 1 and end class name merchant bottom. Okay, so here first we'll display the heading, uh, your rest your restaurant carts. So if there is multiple cards, we will basically display the cards, right? We will display the buttons to select which card a user wants to check out, right? So for that here, we will create put it text large font bold and some margin, class name flex wrap gap of 2, and here we will basically map cards dot map card button. This is basically give us to which card we want to select it. So for that, let's give here key card dot restaurant id and class name. So here the class name, we give the class name and card dot restaurant name. Okay, so to implement the cards, let's add first some item into the card, right? So for that, what we can do, let's go back to the restaurant page, and at here the items that we have created in the restaurant card, there is there should be a button. mm, yeah, in the restaurant menu category, restaurant menu item, and in the restaurant menu category will be have here plus icon, right? And on click, so here we will implement that. Let's add here constant dispatch use app dispatch. So on clicking of this button, like in the restaurant menu category, right? We have here we are displaying all that category items, right? So in the category items we have like at here in the restaurant, these are the food items, right? So for and here what one click of this button, we will add that into the cart. So for that, let's do dispatch add item. Now in the add item, we need to send item, right? So the item that we need to send it at here, yeah, in the same item, and we need to send restaurant ID. So the restaurant menu and restaurant menu category, also along with we will send the details of menu categories. Let's add here the menu category interface, then restaurant menu category extends menu category. Okay, and let's give it at here. So here will be have, yeah, so here will be have that category, and let's add here restaurant ID, the that restaurant ID, and we need restaurant name to add this to the add items, right? So the add items, this is the payload action. For that we need to send the item, restaurant ID and restaurant name. Okay, so in the add item, here we have that quantity. Let's give this uh, optional. Okay, and we need to pass this to here this restaurant ID and restaurant name. so that we can pass it like here restaurant dot id, restaurant dot name. Let's give it as string, and let's give this as string. Okay, so here we need to fix this. We just basically we need to display the 2 digits, the at decimal place. So here let's give it here to fixed to. Okay. Now when we will click on the checkout button, so this will navigate to the checkout link. So for that, let's here go to the app.tsx. So let's go to the, so here in the app component, we'll add a route path checkout element, and here in the pages we will create checkout, and let's give it this new file name checkout.tsx. Okay, and in the restaurant and in the cart component, this will basically navigate to, let's import here navigate, use navigation, use navigation dot navigate. Yeah, let's navigate, and let's use this navigate here navigate checkout. Okay, so when we are here, when we will do checkout, click on checkout, will display the checkout here. Okay, and the checkout link basically here, let's give it checkout. Okay, and also in the layout here we will check constant use. Okay, here we'll use location, and here we'll just give this path name is not equal to checkout and end. Okay, so if there is uh if that's on the checkout page, we will not display the cart on right side. Okay, now here we will basically display first okay, so on the checkout page, let's change this to last name, some padding. Okay, and here we'll display the heading. Okay, now here we'll display a div. We'll basically display the sections here, the payment section, along with we will display the address section, and then there will be an proceed to payment. So here let's put it class name grid colon 1 gap 4. Okay, and here let's give div of last name background white rounded. Okay, and here we'll display the heading. So this is heading payment method. Now here we will display different payment methods. Okay, so first here let's put it div last name flex wrap some gap and margin bottom. Also here we will hold a state payment method, set payment method is equal to use state, and let's give it by default card. Okay, now here we'll basically display a div So let me put it here, and here I'm going to add this method and payment method string. Okay, so now at here what we are doing, we are basically displaying a div. Inside div, if there is a card, if the payment method is card, then we are just setting a border. Here we can set it the border amber, border primary, and here will be have one more div where we are just displaying if it is an card. Okay, the payment method is an card. Okay, so this is the div which I have added over here, and in this div we have on click handle payment method change. So this is a function, and at here, so handle payment method change will basically set the payment method to the method that we want to select it, and inside that, if it is selected, then this will be an div here, and this span credit and debit card, so like over here, and this is the radio button. This is the div which is displaying that radio. Like if I remove this, okay, this is if this is, if the card is selected, then we will display selected. So this is of one type, the payment method card, and the same I will put it here, will copy and just paste it here, and this will be a PayPal, and let's give this here PayPal, like this, and there will be one more which will be cash on delivery. So just copy this and we will paste it. Let me expand this, and we will paste it here, and this is COD, cash on delivery, and let's do this cash here. Okay, and in the handle payment method we will basically set it, the payment method, even you can use it at here, set payment method, and just leave this set payment method, set payment method. Okay, so this is our three options that we will display to select the payment method. Now after this, if there is a card, right, so after this and this block, right, now at here, after this, here will display a form, right. So if payment method is equal to card, then we will display card form. Okay, so here we'll get the card form, and on when we click on the PayPal, so let's add here if payment method is equal to PayPal, and so here we will display a div. This would be a div that will be redirect to PayPal for to complete the payment. Okay, and if the payment method is cash on delivery, then we will display here another div. Okay, like pay when your order is delivered, have decreased the some margin, and after this will be have address section. So for the address section, we'll display a similar div like this, address. Okay, and let's put it here, class name lex. This div is not required actually because we have a grid, and after this we'll display the order details. So let's add the same styling over here, and here first we'll display the heading, order summary. After this we'll display the heading, and let's here put it. So here we'll display the heading, the restaurant name. For that, let's first check active card index equal to use app selector, select active card index, constant active card, and also we need to select the cards, use app selector, select cards, and here we will check cards active card index, active card index else, and here the dot active card dot restaurant restaurant name, okay, like this. And after this we will display the card items. So for that, let's add here a div active card dot items dot map item. So after this we will display a div. Here we'll display the item dot quantity, item dot name. So this will be like justify between. So this will be the two columns will display in a row, right? In a row we'll display these two items like this. And after this, here I'll display one more div. So here we will basically display the subtotal and service charge and the delivery fees, and we'll make it total. Okay, so here I'm keeping this service charge and delivery charge, and here constant subtotal active cart dot items. So even like the total we can put it active cart dot total amount plus service charge plus delivery fee. Okay. Okay, so in this we will in this div we will display a div of like at here active cart dot total amount dot to fix, and then we will display on bottom at here service fee, and let's display the service fee service charge. May I make it this, I change this to $5, and here we'll set we will give delivery fee, and then we'll get total. So total we will put it after this div. This will be the total. Okay, so uh, okay, so this is the order summary, address, and the payment method. And after this will be have button, and here when the payment is processing, because when we will place the order we will set to processing, set is processing, use state false, and here constant handle submit. Okay, so in the this button on click handle submit disabled is processing, and here we will give class name with full padding by rounded. Here we display is processing, then we will give processing, else we will give place order. Okay,
Font medium.
and here we'll check is processing, then we'll set background primary, cursor not allowed, so here will display gray 100, as will display background primary, text white. Okay, this. Okay, now on handle submit, we will place the, we will go to that payment section. Basically, if it is selected, the payment is selected as cash on delivery, then we will directly place the order. And if it is not, then we will go to the payment page, we'll complete the payment, and then we will place the order. So now in the handle submit, let's add here react dot form event prevent default, if not active cart, return, set is processing view. And now here we will create the order object. So in the order object will be have here id order hyphen new, so it will give date dot now restaurant active cart dot restaurant name restaurant id active cart dot restaurant id, and basically we can just display here active cart, right, and let's display id after that. Payment method status pending, timestamp new date dot to, so string, and the estimate time we will set it the 30 minutes from the current time, and this we will set it in set timeout. Set timeout we have added here because here we are not making an API call until we have not API ready. So for that, to just give it in the UI, this is actually making us an payment processing. So then after the set timeout, we will set is processing false, and we'll create the order object, and this order object, then we will set it, we'll basically set it to the hook. So this we will set it in the Redux, right? Then after that we will dispatch the clear cart, and then we will navigate to that order tracking page. So after creating this order object, we will set it this to uh, local storage. So let's do existing orders JSON dot parse local storage dot get items. Even we can set it this to Redux, but if we set this to Redux and then when we will reload the application, then we need to call an API to get the data and then set it to the store local storage dot set item orders json dot stringify existing orders, and here this order. Then we will set dispatch. Let's call user dispatch here. Dispatch use app dispatch clear cart active cart dot active cart index as string use navigate, and then we will navigate to the order tracking page. Okay, we will navigate to the order tracking page. So to create the order tracking, uh, here let's go to that app.tsx. So here we will add one more route. Path is equal to order track order id and element, and in the pages let's give here order tracking dot tsx. Okay, in the checkout here we'll call order track order dot id. Okay, if we go to the dashboard, here we have this order, and let's do checkout. We'll choose cash on delivery, place order, processing, and here we are at the order tracking. So this is one of, if we clear, okay, so in the checkout clear cart, here we need to send the restaurant id. So active cart dot restaurant id. Okay, so let's add the items. Also we will select item from some other restaurant. Now here we have two carts. Let's check out this first. So the restaurant name is Tasty Delights, and let's choose cash on delivery, place order. Yeah, we are here at order tracking page, and then we have left the another restaurant cart, which is still there on the in the cart section. Okay, so yeah, this is our payment page, right? When we will integrate with the APIs, we'll make an actual API call, and also when we will go to this form credit card, so here we will integrate this with Stripe. We'll integrate either with Stripe or Razorpay payments, and for the PayPal, like it will. I will not integrate with PayPal, but if you want, you can integrate it, and their cash on delivery is straightforward. We don't need to give it anything here. Also we will implement this to change the address, and yeah, in the order history we will display here all the orders. Okay, so now let's create that order tracking page.